Akure. I can see Nicholas from Undo. I can see Ime Inyang from PHC, that's Port Harcourt. Lovely, you're welcome. You're welcome. Can we have others? I can see Juliana Daniel from Kaduna. You're welcome, Juliana. Raphael Tabo from Abuja, you're welcome. Engineer Benjamin from Ado Ekiti, you're welcome. Everyone, you're welcome. It's awesome having us. Adejoke from Lagos, welcome. Afsat Musa from Zaria, Kaduna, you're also welcome. So we have Chuks Tolu from Lagos, you're welcome. Michael Osiako from Lagos, you're also welcome. Welcome to Victor from Ogbomoso, and welcome to everyone joining. I can see Temitope from UK, you're welcome as well. Zara from KB, welcome. Olalekan from Ibadan, welcome. Welcome everyone. Tejumola from Lagos, you're welcome. We want to really welcome each and every one of us again this evening to this awesome session. Today is going to be another wonderful session where we'll be learning from one of the best of the best. I will get to the citation in just a few minutes from now. Today we'll be looking at another session titled Beyond Guidance, Leveraging Mentorship Programs for Ultimate Growth. How can we leverage mentorship programs for ultimate growth? Just like a scholar once said, you can only see farther when you stand on the shoulder of giants. That's one of what we will be doing this evening. We'll be standing on one of the shoulders, on the shoulder of one of the giants, someone who has done awesomely well in this industry, and he'll be sharing a lot of deep thoughts and insights which were gleaned from over years of experience, and this will be shared with us this evening. So I want to welcome each and every one of us. As I quickly run through the introduction, please tell your friends, tell your colleagues, tell other community members, tell everyone around you, tell them that we have started. At DSN, we keep to time. You can be rest assured that in the next, by 5 p.m., we'll also end this. So very quickly, I'll just take about 5 minutes or thereabout to run through about DSN and few introductory slides, and I will bring up our speaker so that he can have awesome session with us. He's already on the call. About DSN, DSN has a commitment to raise 1 million AI talents and build AI solution that improves the quality of life and well-being of 2 billion people in emerging market. That is what we are about. And for that to happen, we actually have a network of communities scattered around the globe. Yes, we are in the UK, we are in Francophone Africa, we are in various other countries in Africa, and very well represented in various communities in Nigeria. We also have a dedicated learning platform for ladies, which we call Ladies in AI. This is to drive inclusion because DSN is also an inclusive organization where we try to ensure that everyone is ably represented. Late last year, in the last quarter of last year, DSN launched the Female-Oriented Arewa Ladies for Tech program in Kaduna State with google.org. Coincidentally, today was the graduation ceremony of the first cohort of that learning stream, and it's been an awesome one. I know there's still other along the line. We'll share links for those who may be interested in still joining maybe the next cohort or the next, so that you could apply. We are also very well, again, like I mentioned earlier on, we have communities in Francophone Nigeria and even Francophone countries, Francophone African countries, where we organize French learning sessions for our French speakers. This is also to drive inclusion such that our community engagement is also not just only in English, but also in the French language. DSN largest Francophone community, which is DSN Maradi in Niger Republic, hosted their very first event with the massive participation, as you can see with the slide on the screen. That was late last year. They hosted their very first event, and they had the massive participation. This is currently located in Niger Republic. We also celebrated the International Girls' Child's Day by visiting schools to educate and inspire young girls on the theme, The Girl, Child, and AI, the future is now. So we were part of this to also foster our engagement amongst, so DSN runs a vertical that consists from both the catch them young at a very young age, those in secondary school, in primary school, secondary school, all the way to undergraduates, and then graduates and professional. We have a pipeline of such networks so as to ensure that we're effectively engaging people at every strata. DSN also hosted an 8-week masterclass on generative AI for educators. That was last year, running through last quarter of last year, and it was awesome working with educators, helping them to learn how they can leverage generative AI teaching and learning in the classroom. Well attended, and we have participants from not just only in Nigeria, we have from in Africa, we have from in other parts of the world, and you can see some of the snapshot of the learning from that generative AI class. These were some images that the teachers themselves generated, speaking to the various subjects that they teach in the classroom, leveraging AI platforms, free generative AI platform to generate these images. And then we also hosted our fully funded AI bootcamp with its unique expressions and immersive experiences, featuring exposure to leading global mentors in the realm of data science and AI. We had this event at our AI Hub in Lagos, and it was very well attended and awesome. DSN also won the 2023 Hearts of Technology AOT 5.0 Excellence Award in the AI Machine Learning category. That was a video we were playing before we kickstarted this session a few minutes ago. That was also in December last year. This speaks to the fact, these are tested to the fact that DSN is an organization of repute when it comes to artificial intelligence. DSN is also secured the Best Academic Poster Award for the 3rd year in a row at Indabax during the event at Thomas Adewumi University in Kwara State. That was last year too as well. All of this speaks to all of our various involvement. And then also last year as well again, DSN, we became winners of the highly competitive Global Challenge, the Global Grant Challenge Grant, an initiative funded by the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation. And 2 of our products actually won grants from that grant challenge out of over 1,300 applicants, and we just maybe barely about 50 that were chosen. Again, that speaks to the kind of value and the kind of results that we create. DSN has currently been mentioned and referenced in over 14,500 instances in various academic papers from across the globe on academia.edu alone. We're not talking of other platforms, but just on this platform alone, because we are very heavy on knowledge acquisition. 2 of our products, initially conceptualized and developed by DSN, were selected in the 2021 Global Top 100 AI Product by UNESCO. That speaks again and again to the kind of value that we create at DSN. Also, because of our interest in ensuring that knowledge gets to the most nitty-gritty level, DSN released the first artificial intelligence and Python book for elementary students and beginners in Africa. This helps learners, you can see grade 4 primary school level, to be able to have access to fundamental basic knowledge of programming and technology. Then DSN has a dedicated AI research lab and hub in Yaba, Lagos, and our hub, our training room, is also available if you want to use that for events at a very, very affordable price. And then we have our research lab where we carry out a lot of researches in the AI sector. Very quickly, before I will be welcoming our speaker to take the stage, I want to speak to the attendance. Currently, we have my colleague Oluwabukumi has already dropped the link to the attendance in the chat section. For those, if you have your phone, you can just do a screen grab of this QR code, and then that will give you the link immediately, and you can just fill. Or if not, just go to the chat section. The attendance link has also been dropped. We are very specific about taking the attendance of our community members who are attending, so that we know communities that are very well represented in our central events. This is because part of our focus in 2024 is also drive benefits to community. And we want to ensure that it's actually communities who are very involving, engaging, and participatory that actually gets these benefits and not just random individuals. So this is very important, and we want to encourage that you do this. Finally, we are now going to introduce our mentor for this evening session. Meet Sebastian Obeta. Sebastian Obeta is an accomplished AI expert and researcher specializing in natural language processing within artificial intelligence. Currently, he serves as a data scientist and analyst at the University of Cambridge, focusing on advancing AI technologies. Sebastian is renowned for his engaging presentations and was honored with the Researcher and Presentation Award at the 2022 Data, Machine Learning, and AI Conference in Dubai. Passionate about empowering others in data science, Sebastian co-founded Applied Artificial Intelligence at the University of Bradford, recognized as the fastest growing innovative platform at the Leeds Digital Festival 2022. He was also recognized as one of the top 100 African business leaders, entrepreneurs, and professionals in the UK by the African Business Chamber. Sebastian's expertise spans various industries, including finance, telecommunications, and health, and he holds certifications as a certified NLP engineer and certified data scientist. His research interests include explainable AI, responsible AI, AI ethics, federated analytics and learning, blockchain, machine learning, and NLP. Overall, Sebastian strives to advance AI while ensuring its responsible and ethical implementation in today's world. With a clapping ovation, the fire emoji, with the claps and all, I want us to welcome this evening our speaker for this evening session, Sebastian Obeta, a data scientist at the University of Cambridge. Let me see that clapping. Let me see that clapping. Let me see the claps. Let me see the fire emojis. Let me see the thumbs up of Mr. Sebastian. You're welcome, sir. Yes, let it keep coming. Let it keep coming. Let it keep coming until our speaker takes the center stage. Let the claps, let the applause, let the fire emoji, let the thumbs up, let it keep coming. This is awesome. And I want to also say that Mr. Sebastian has also been a very, very helpful mentor in the DSN community. Every time we call on him, he's always available. We really appreciate what you do, and you're very welcome. Welcome, sir. You have the floor, sir.
All right. Thank you so much for having me. I'm super excited anytime I'm invited to such an occasion. Well, yeah, what more can you say? I'm a product of DSN. So if anyone wants to know if DSN is working, just ask the person to check up my profile and you'll see that I'm a product of DSN. I started my career with DSN and here am I today. So please confirm if you can see my screen. Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, depending on where you are tuning in this beautiful afternoon with great sunshine over my roof. And oh, great, thank you. So based on the profile that you've read, I just want to assure anyone that is on this call trying to transition to understand data or to be within the data space that this particular section is for you and it's something that you can achieve. So today, without wasting much time, we'll be looking at beyond guidance, leveraging mentorship programs for ultimate growth. Yeah, as a data scientist, I'm not really going to talk about how data science or what my day-to-day activities is in the office, but I'm going to tell you one of those primary tools that guided me to the point where I am. So I would like to mention that I'm one of the first part of the pioneer member of Data Science Nigeria, now known as Data Science Network, and also one of the first beneficiary of the first mentorship program that was held or that the DSN conducted. In today's section, we are looking at our objective is to see how participants who are going to sign up or who are already signed up for DSN mentoring program can understand what mentorship dynamic is and how to strategically leverage mentorship opportunities effectively. The second objective is to see how to build practical skill sets and important attitudes to maximize mentorship experience and to drive career development. And the third is to participate to develop actionable plans for activating your career goals through effective mentorship engagement. So depending on the field where you want to transition in your career, depending on the field that you want to build your technical skill set or you want to be known for, it's very important for you to listen carefully, take notes, and take all these steps that I'm going to list out for you. This is proven because I transitioned from being a mentee to a mentor, and I have track records of people that I've mentored in different phases. Some of them are students within institutions, and part of the mentoring section benefits them financially as well to pay towards to their school fees. So these are practical steps that I'm going to share with you. I had to do some research to be sure that people are saying what I've observed and people are actually seeing it from that perspective. Now, when I started my career, I had 3 mentors. And I mean, if you don't know the first man on the screen there by Dr. Bayo, then I think you're on a wrong call, because this is the visionary of DSN. I remember then when I came back from a long-term vacation at work, everyone was shouting about DSN, DSN, data science, data science. And I asked one of my colleagues then, who is data science? And the person told me that bio is data science. So I'm like, how is Dr. Bio data science? So I went into his office, and that was how I built that mentoring to the point where I am. And just as the moderator stated, that if you want to stand tall in this world, then you need to stand tall, or if you want to be a giant, you need to stand tall on the shoulders of giants. And I don't think you'll be surprised the little accomplishment that I've heard, because I still have more to accomplish. Just as my mentor bio progresses, I tend to step into that shoe. Now, the second person is Alice Conway. So when DSN mentorship started, the first it started, there were about 27 mentors that were allocated, world-class mentors across the globe. Now, a task was given to us based on our membership to look at their portfolios and to select two set of mentors that we like. So we looked at their portfolio. So you have to select your first choice and your second choice. If your first choice is filled up, then you'll be assigned your second choice. The first choice I chose was Alex Conway. This is a great guy based in South Africa and known across the world for his escapade in the field of AI and machine learning. So I chose him, and I remember the first course. So as I progress with this, I'll be telling you how my success story was, how each of the points I got to, and why I'm saying what I'm saying. Now, this is Onome Ologe. Ologe happens to be my direct line manager then where I was working back home in Nigeria, and he keeps on directing me on how to be optimal in terms of working with data, working with numbers. And I so much admire him by seeing him as a role mentor, because some of the piece of advice he gave me are the things that I'm using today. What is mentorship and what is mentoring? It's very clear for us to establish this point, because one, people, you may think you need mentorship, but you don't need mentorship. Probably what you need may be traditional guidance. You may think you need traditional guidance, but you don't need traditional guidance. What you need is coaching. There are 3 things, but they overlap and they mean different things. Well, if you want to look at mentoring, there are 5 questions or 4 questions that you need to answer. The first one is, what is the role of the mentor to you? So this section is basically seeing how mentees can derive maximally or obtain maximally in a mentorship program of DSN. And probably we'll have another call where mentors as well can see things from a different perspective. But this is mostly those who wants to participate in the mentorship program of DSN from the mentee's perspective. So you need to ask yourself 4 questions. What is the role of the mentor to you? You need to ask, what is the purpose of the mentoring activity? For example, is it just for sharing knowledge, or are there things that you'll be dealing as transitioning as regards to your career? You may want to look at what occasions requires. The fourth one may be, what occasion, what are you currently passing through, or what are your stage at the moment that requires mentoring? And the fourth one may be, what is the core skill of the mentoring that you want to get involved in? So Right, if you write these 4 things down and you answer them honestly, it will then lead us to what is mentoring all about. So mentorship, from basic definitions that you've seen probably in the internet, involves a one-to-one relationship. It involves a one-to-one relationship where a mentor provides guidance, support, and advice to the mentee. Now, look at this definition, which I love so much. It says as mentorship is defined as being dynamic, reciprocal relationship. Mark the word reciprocal relationship, where an experienced individual guides and supports the growth of another. Now, the definition of mentorship here as being dynamic or reciprocal relationship, and where an experienced individual guides and supports the growth of another, does not necessarily imply that the person being supported is inexperienced. All right. So, because most times we see mentors as, oh, they are experienced more than us. It doesn't necessarily mean that that person is inexperienced, the person that is being guided. Now, while it is common for mentorship to involve an experienced mentor, right, providing a guidance to a less experienced mentee, the term experience is relative. That's one. And two, it is context-based. Now, in many relationships or in many mentorship scenarios, the mentee may indeed be less experienced or newer to a particular field. It could be in a particular skills, it could be in a particular role. However, there are instances where mentorship can involve individuals with varying level of experience or expertise, kind of collaborating in a mutual beneficial relationship. So it's meant to be a bi-directional learning that takes place. So that's why I said it's a reciprocal relationship. So mentors can learn from mentees, especially in areas related to emerging trends, technologies, or cultural shifts. Or better put it, it could be a renewed enthusiasm for mentors as well. So when you interact with enthusiastic mentees or mentors, it could be at that point that ambitions are reignited for mentors, their passions during their work, putting into their work. So mentors can find more like a renewed energy and inspiration through their mentees and drive and ambition. So I've established that it's a two-way thing. So I want you to take that at the back of your mind so that when you're approaching a mentor or when DSN assigns a mentor to you, you understand that you are not just there to drain, but you are there to drain and to give back to whosoever that will be mentoring you. So it's a broader term that encompasses all over, and it refers to the relationship. Now let's contrast it to traditional guidance. Let's look at it from the point of traditional guidance, and let's look at it from duration and scope. You see that mentorship typically involves a long-term relationship, all right? But traditional guidance is specific on a particular task. Probably you want to transition, you are in a new country and you want to transition into jobs, or you want to get or learn something new, just as an LLM model is out there, you want to learn something new. You don't necessarily need a mentor, but all you just need is someone who will guide you, or a traditional guidance. So, but mentorship kind of creates a long-term relationship that guides and supports, whereas traditional guidance also guides and support, but this one is tend to be to a specific or immediate task. Let's look at it from the point of focus or development. Focus or development. You see, mentorship looks at the holistic development of an individual, whereas traditional guidance primarily concentrates on immediate problem solving or addressing specific tasks at hand. It may lack a broader perspective of the individuals overall. Let's look at it again from relationship dynamics. Mentorship involves a more personal. So you could see that most times when I mentor people, I try to understand what are their challenges, especially depending on the country where they are. So, for example, if you are giving someone a task or you're giving your mentee a task, you need to understand the terrain where the person is. Is there light? Is there data? The person can work on that task. So most times I try to provide this for some of my mentees. So the point I'm trying to say is, I'm trying to differentiate between mentorship. So it's a more personal relationship. But in terms of traditional guidance, I give you the task, you just go and get it done, or you just go and learn it. So it's more like a transactional relationship where guidance is given. Let's look at a very typical example of this. Now, think of a professional facing a challenging project. So in this point, a mentor in this category might offer guidance by sharing personal experience of overcoming similar obstacles. Again, we are looking at personal experience. So the mentor will have a proven experience to share, whereas a traditional guidance may just involve providing a checklist of steps that a person can follow to complete the project without diving deep into mentor's own experience. Now, let's come to what they call it, to coaching. Let's come to coaching and look at coaching from that perspective. So coaching is a process designed to help individuals or team. Again, we are talking about helping, designed to help individuals or team to improve performance. And don't worry, because while I was preparing this slide, I was preempting some questions that will come. If you're saying it's guidance and it's support and it's this, so what is the difference between the three? Well, let me state this, that in coaching, in mentoring and coaching, their approaches are personal development, that's for sure. And they sometimes involve one-on-one discussion or a group or pair, which we are not going to look into, and improving individuals' knowledge or skill. But the distinction can be made between the two. So there is often an overlap. And let's look at it holistically. The first point should be purpose and focus. Let's look at it from purpose and focus. Please just write your questions down and I'll take it at the end of the day. Let's look at purpose and focus. So typically, mentoring focus on a long-term career development. So in essence, there must be a career development. Probably you are into banking and you want to transition into data analytics, or you are into banking, but you want to add data analytics skill set to what you want to learn. So coaching in its sense has a more specific and a short-term focus. So career development and personal growth. All right. But coaching, there is a specific and a short-term focus. So coaching can help individuals improve specific fields, overcoming challenges, and achieve specific goals. But if someone wants to grow in career-wise and in a long-term basis, then mentoring is what the person needs. The second one we want to look at is from the role that both play. So mentoring often acts as a role model. So sometimes the person that you think is mentoring you, is that person acting as a role model? Is this somebody that you want to mimic? Yeah, the three mentors that I've mentioned to you are people that I would like to mimic. So they are not coaching, but coaching primarily facilitates the learning. They just care about your learning and the development process by asking questions, providing feedback, which mentoring also provides, but they are not being seen from a role model perspective. Let's look at it again from nature of the relationship, which I've talked about already. The relationship is kind of personal and may extend to professional matters. But in the aspect of coaching, the relationship is typically more focused on professional development. We don't talk about families, we don't talk about relationship, we don't talk about your challenges, unless the challenges is centered on what the tasks that you want to do. So that's what coaching tends to do in the professional development and skills enhancement. That's why I said we may have another section where we can look at it from a mentor's perspective to understand there is also a thin line that demarcates that personal rapport, personal relationship that you have with your mentee. The next one is, let's look at it from expertise perspective. Now, mentors are often more experienced individuals in the same or related field. So if you are trying, that's why if you want to sell, well, I'm going to talk about that. This is very key in identifying your mentors, who will be your mentor. But in a coaching perspective or in a coaching view, may not necessarily have the expertise in that field that you want to get into, but they may be skilled in the coaching process. So they try to help individuals explore their own potentials and find solutions. We've seen the three, and traditional guidance, evolution of traditional guidance, coaching, and mentoring. But how did mentorship evolves? How did mentorship evolves? So mentor, the word mentor is from Homer's epic poem called, the poem is called the Odyssey, and it means the man in mentor, in that word mentor, the man there means of the mind or one who thinks. So you can see also, see it from the perspective of coaching, mentoring, and guidance. So the suffix there, the to means man. So in context, it could be a man who thinks, called mentor. Then in feminine perspective, the trees there means the trees there means a woman who thinks. So mentress. So for mentor, for mentress. Now, so, and you can see that many people I don't need to ask what are the benefits of mentorship, because I standing in front of you, I'm a product of DSN Mentor. mentorship program. So the narrative of mentorship in the ocean revolves around a story or a poem of a king's son named Telemachus. Now, this Telemachus, was derived from an ancient Greek word which translates far from battle. And the story is surrounding this. During the ancient times, kings, they always have a heir who will inherit the kingdom. And they want that heir to be super fit to inherit the kingdom when they are not around. And within that setting, the kings then are always involved in battles, going into battles and all of that. Now, the king whose son is called Telemachus was so weak, and as a result, the king now thought that if he goes to a battle or if he goes to war and didn't come back, the kingdom is going to be in disarray. And at some point, the kingdom may even leave his family lineage to another family. So he was so concerned about his son and wanted to go into a battle, a prolonged battle, a war to be precise. So what he did was he then entrusted his son Telemachus to his friend, who is also a warrior overseeing the kingdom. And the name of this person is called Mentor. Now, the king gained so much confidence and actively understood that this person, Mentor, will actually groom his son to take over. Unfortunately, Mentor capability were questioned. And it got to a point because when the king go on a battle, he sends message back home from time to time. So after a prolonged time and messages did not come back to the kingdom, they now thought that he's dead in the battlefront. Now, a lot of uproar started coming up to the point that the people started even to ask for the wife's hand in marriage, because automatically, if you marry the queen, you are then the king. At that point, because the queen could not manage, the queen decided to appoint the Aten, who is the goddess of civil administration, war, and wisdom, to restore stability in the king's absence. Now, interestingly, Aten now found interest or developed interest in Telemachus in playing that role that Mentor couldn't do, and as a result of that, Telemachus became so great and to the point overcame or carried out different tasks and was successful. And one of the tasks was for him to go to the battlefront to confirm if this father is actually dead. And he went there, saw the father alive, fought alongside, and came back. So this is how the story of mentorship started into play. And we could see philosophers adopting this kind of mentorship section or mentorship approach in building people. A good example from ancient history could be the renowned philosopher Socrates, who played a very great role in mentoring Plato. All right, because Socrates mentorship section of questioning, encouraging critical thinking, laid the foundation according to the record of Plato. We could also see it from Aristotle, which is another luminary of ancient Greeks who continued to mentor Alexander the Great. And we could see the product of what they are becoming at the end of each of the mentorship. So this particular process, mentoring that they are seeing at the moment, moved forward to apprenticeship tradition. Then in the apprenticeship tradition, which is the medieval guide, where they now brought skilled craftsmen to mentor apprentices, ensuring the preservation of craftsmanship and transfer of specialized learning. This also graduated to the Renaissance era. So the Renaissance era are the revival of European arts and literature, where they now have artistic mentorship. Now, so during this, artists like Leonard de Vinci mentored apprentices in workshops, contributing to their flourishing artistic creativity. I mean, so intellectual traditions came into a place where we now started seeing it from scholars' perspective, to the point that we entered into the Industrial Revolution. Within the Industrial Revolution, when we had Industrial Revolution, of course, we know that Industrial 1.0 started with all those coal mine and the likes of them. So trade and craft mentorship came into existence, right? The Industrial Revolution brought about the skill trade, to the point that we got into what they call it, corporate mentorship. So it graduates into offices, companies adopting those same methods. And here we are, DSN, adopting such mentorship program. So it went further to leadership development. So no longer within the corporate world, but if people want to grow as a leader, in fact, most of the top companies in UK, most of those part past executive like Nelson Mandela, Barack Obama's foundation, they try to build mentors. They try to build mentees to become a leader, a world-class leader. And some of you want to check some of their programs, because some of their leadership programs are on at the moment. I think Barack Obama's leadership development course is on at the moment. You may want to apply for it to become to be trained to become a leader, to be mentored to become a leader. Within UK as well, Chatham House as well, they develop leaders from such programs. So it grew from industrial revolution to it. Now we are now into professional settings, which DSN have adopted, and we are then digitalizing it. Okay, having seen some of these things, what are the mentoring cycles that we have? And the reason why I'm bringing this to you, because somehow this could be beneficial for mentors, but the reason why I'm bringing this to you is to tell you that although mentoring is a long-term relationship, it's not meant to be perpetual relationship. So you need to understand at what point you are, if you are already in the mentorship section, at what point where you if you're about to start, and if you're in the process, at what time are you going to set directions? Are you going to progress? Are you going to wind up and move on? You need to move on to become mentors, because we need mentees to graduate to become mentors and build more people. Remember our vision when the moderator started, we have a mandate to raise 1 billion people, and Dr. Bayo cannot do it alone. That is why I've based on the mentorship he gave to I and some other people, and we've stepped up to actually assist other people who are within that sector. Briefly, I'm going to just talk about it. The first one is the building rapport. You know, I remember the first time I had a chat with Alex Conway. It was an interesting conversation, because when I met him the first time, I asked him a question. I mean, he asked me, "So, what do you want to achieve, or what can I do for you?" And so I was muttering at that point, and that's why you need to understand that there is a rapport section where you look at things from different perspectives, because extensive research on numerous mentoring pairs have revealed that effective monitoring, more especially building rapport, helps to understand how an individual can progress. So in that conversation, I remember telling him, "Oh, I want to be like you in 6 months' time." And he started laughing. He burst out. He started laughing at me. He asked me a simple question: "Do you know where do you know where I am now, and how much it took me to get to the point where I am? That you want to get there within 6 months?" He started listing his accomplishments. He started listing everything. And when he finished, I still ended up telling him, "I want to be like you in 6 months' time." So that was actually, I mean, he might be like, "Is this guy sort of crazy or something?" After I've said this to you, but I'm happy that he understood that and he saw that approach. Now, there are things you need to take note of in this. One, before you build that rapport, while you are having that conversation, you need to ask yourself, what do we have in common? What values do we share? What experience will it be good to share? Because sometimes you may be carried away just to impress, or sometimes you may be carried away not to impress, but what's experience and how often do we meet? So that is the rapport stage, and things you need to be aware in. One, don't take impression at the instant, because at that point that he laughed at me, I would have just said it, "You know what? That is it." I don't think he encourages someone who is more ambitious and encouragement. So don't take impression at the onset. Now, the first one is addressing early identified boundaries. You have to maintain politeness and to avoid impatience and initiate progress. This is very key, because sometimes the conversation may not start on a very good note. The person may even be coming out from work so tired and all of those things. You need to be aware of these key things when you approach or when you're building a rapport with a mentor. Now, the second one is setting directions. I'm going to talk more on this as we progress, but the reason why I'm bringing this up is to know that both parties will be engaged to articulate your objectives. So once you've built that rapport, built that personal relationship, you need to set out your objective. It's not when you give him a call and to initiate a conversation. Set out an objective. Explore priorities. So in the course of this, I'm going to show you different ways you can set your goals and objectives, different frameworks you can adopt. And some areas you need to focus on in certain direction is to, one, understand the learning style. Understand the learning style. First, your own learning style and your mentor's learning style and its implication, impact, and collaboration. All right. You need to understand the goals of each other's learning and also understand the initial needs and establish priority. because sometimes we may lose priority on the things that we want, whereas that is not what we want. For example, someone transitioning into data space and relocated to another country, trying to, in terms of studying or studying data science, and the first priority is to get a job. And you're now looking for someone like me to mentor you on how to get a job. The first question is, what am I even going to mentor you? What skill set do you have for you to build yourself within that space? So at this juncture, which is the progress stage, both parties will begin to articulate their objectives for the relationship and initiate conversations on potential approach. So everything is settled, objectives are clear, tasks are given, and you are currently going. So you need to understand that stage. Now, the phase of this relationship is a sustained and productive activity. If you're not sure you are in this then you have to fall back to your mentor to understand if you are in this progression stage. Although this is a knowledge that is meant for mentors, but you need to have it as a mentee in order to make yourself accountable within your mentorship program. Then winding up, like I said, it's not a perpetual relationship. You need to come to that point where you need to wind up based on what, if you've achieved, accomplished your initial objectives, a long-term and a short-term objectives, and at the same time, you need to move on. Now, I'm coming to the point where it's going to be more interesting and it's going to be practical in instance for me sharing my experience, how it all works. And I'm going to talk through with you on 6 strategies for leveraging mentorship opportunities effectively. 6 strategies. I'll try and be slow so that I can explain more and you to understand more. So the first one is discovering your learning style. You know, what are learning styles to start with? And these are based on the acknowledgement that we all do not learn in the same way. So I'm going to show you a model, Peter Honey and Alan Moffat model for learning style, which is linked to the steps which we naturally go through. Because if you tell yourself the truth, while you are either in school or growing up, you see that some people are slow learners. You need to discover this yourself if you want to maximize the opportunity, because your mentor is there to serve you. So you are the one to steer the ship. While you are steering the ship, if you don't understand your learning style, your mentor may likely impose the learning style on you. So on that first day I met Alex Conway, he gave me a list of things to do. And at that point, I checked up on him. I told him I'm not through with this after I think 3 months or 4 months. And afterwards, he now said, "Oh, you say you want to be like me in 6 months time, and within 4 months, you are not done with the first task." But for me, I understood my learning way, the way I learn, because I like to be I like to be practical. All right, I like to be an activist in my learning. So I'm going to show you this so I can identify where you are learning, so as to follow the speed when it comes to that. Now, the first question is, why is this important? Why is this important? So, you know, learning is progressive, all right? Learning is constant and it's an ongoing process. So being aware of your preferred learning style and thereby understanding your strength and weakness will enable you to take active steps towards becoming more effective learner. All right, and this could be used both for mentors and for mentees. Let's look at the model so you can identify where you fit in. So the first one is the activist. I already said I'm an activist in my learning style. So I enjoy new and challenging activities. I benefit most from learning through experience and working with others. So your strength in this point could be doing things, putting ideas into action, enjoy change and variety. You are flexible, acting quickly. Now, in the process of acting quickly, you try to learn in depth. You try to learn in depth, not just being master of all, and not just learning everything. Oh, you learn SQL, you learn Python, you learn this, you learn that, but yet you are not above average, or you are not an authoritarian within that, but you know everything. All right. So for activists, their preference, they could have new experience. They love taking risks. They love getting involved in activities with people, and they like getting things done. So one of the things that pronounced me was when I worked on the bi-directional encoder via transformer. And I'm happy to say that I'm one of the first scientists that worked on that model when it was released in 2018. And it was at that point I wanted to work with BET model that I had to reach out to my mentor, Alex. This is the project I picked up in school, and my supervisors and professors were so happy about it. And I said to him, because it was so funny for me picking it, at some point, even the people that was assigned to work on that project left it because nobody have done something in the future, or nobody have done something in the past on this, and I'm the first person picking up that model. but that got me to the height and to the point where I am, and the reserve accolades that I got. So for me, I derive strength in taking risks, doing something new. So personal relevance, doing what interests you. So do you see yourself in that regard? Because sometimes some mentors will be so careful not to overload you. But if you are that type that is an activist, just tell him to bring it on. So you need to understand it, and you need to understand your learning style and flow with it.
Hello, Sebastian. Sorry, just to inform you that you have less than 10 minutes remaining.
All right, that makes sense. So we need to look at we've looked at the activists, then we need to look at the reflector. So for the reflector, you need to these are the people that love collecting data, collecting situations from various perspectives, and interacting with people. They like flowing and interacting with people. Then the next one is the people who are pragmatic. So ask yourself, where do you fit in? You learn mostly easily through immediate practical applications. There are some people that theory doesn't cut it for them. They need a hands-on before they can learn. And the next one you want to look at could be a theorist, people who look at it from that perspective. If you want to progress on this, you need to then you need to find the right mentor. Not everybody can fit into what you want to do. And finding the right mentor, you need to research and evaluate the person, not just anybody. You need to look at the person from a professionalism and respect. And you need to do the third one, which is defining your goals. And I'm going to dwell more and close on defining your goals. There are 5 models that you can adopt in defining your goals. The first one is the SMART analysis or the SMART framework, being specific with your goals, making it measurable and attainable. Well, I won't talk more. I would love to talk more on this, but because of our time, what is it that you want to accomplish? What do you want to achieve this? Whose help will you need in the process? And where will this help be gotten from? You need to also look at the measurable goals that you need to include in this. So these are this is the model I love so much, and I take people who come under my mentorship section under the arm of the DSN. We have the OKRs. The OKRs looked at the objectives and also look at the key results. Now the third model, not everybody can fit into this third model, which is the hard model. Now this hard model in the instance is a heartfelt, is a kind of a model that is heartfelt. So the H there means heartfelt. Then sometimes people learn by being animated, and it requires goals sometimes to be essential in that regard. The fourth one is the WHOOP. So the WHOOP means wish. I don't intend anyone within the data space to go into this kind of model framework in building the goal. So think of an exciting goal. Yes, before you even get into DSN, you would have thought about it. So you are already ready to get into the outcome. Then the next one is look into the outcome. Did I go back? So the next one is to look into the wish, look into the outcome. I think there's a mistake there. So the W there, I think, is wish. The O there is the outcome. Then you look at the obstacles that are within your way. Then you plan your way towards that. So having said that, I'm going to stop here and wait for instructions. Then we have the macro, we have the backward. I love backward. So when you get your progression stage, you go into your backward. Backward means you have the piece of goal, then you now start walking backwards. What are the achievements? For example, you may need a mentor to mentor you on how to transition into career in data science and become an exceptional talent, or getting some of the global awards or global talent kind of residents and all of those stuff. So that's your set goal. Then you now start breaking the process down. What do I need to get? How do I need to get there? And what do I need to build? So I'm going to stop at this point and entertain questions. But I'm sure that that if you build this model in building your architecture, every other thing will make sense at the end of the day. But the third one briefly is to understand the mentorship dynamics. You need to build trust. You need to build trust. You need to build patience. So trust is when you meet your mentor, right? You just need to understand that you need to prove to them that you are reliable. You need to tell them what you are capable of doing. So many people reach out to me, they tell me, oh, they are looking for this, they're looking for that, but They are not sharing. So reach out to your mentor. Ask your mentors, how can I work on a project with you? What project are you working on? I'm happy to work on this project and all that. And you'll see yourself excelling maximally. So thank you so much for having me this evening. And while I see if there are more questions, and I'm happy to connect with you at the end of the section.
All right, thank you so much, Sebastian, for that awesome session. You will agree with me, everyone, that this was a wonderful session. Can you imagine the quality of the value that was jam-packed in just about 40-minute session? This is so very awesome. Can I see the clap emojis, the fire emojis, the thank you, thank you, thank you? Can I see all of that in the chat section? Thank you so much, Mr. Sebastian. Thank you for this awesome value you have shared with us. We're really very grateful. Quickly, we will take just one or two, three questions. If you have a question, just type in the chat section so that I will pick it. And then our speaker will speak to the questions very quickly. Can I have, is there anyone with a question? Any question? Yeah, thank you, thank you. I can see a lot of thank you. Okay, so Ime Inyang is asking, Sebastian, Ime Inyang is asking, what step can you take to ascertain one's learning style? So could you answer that briefly? What step can we take to ascertain one's learning style?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you loud and clear, sir.
Okay, I'm trying to start my video. So I showed a slide on different learning styles that are there. All you just need to do when you get the slide, first thing is to look at those slides, look at them in details and ask yourself, are you an activist? Are you a reflector? Are you pragmatics? Are you a theorist? And I'm also happy, if I can just quickly share, sorry, can I just quickly share my screen and
Yes,
and
please.
flash. Please confirm if you are seeing my screen. So,
Yes, it's coming up. Yes, we can see your
so
screen.
you may want to scan the QR code there and connect with me. Then we can take this further. But all I'm just trying to say is you need to identify yourself within these four. And you don't just identify yourself. There are also, you may want to check this link that I have here, or matrices that you need to do to score yourself to act to be sure that you fit in into any of these. When you identify your learning style, then you take it further to maximizing the opportunity, which will help you to find the right mentor that will understand that learning style.
Okay,
Thank
thank
you.
you so much, sir. Can we pick one more question quickly? Okay, I think I can see a question. Okay, please, my question is that I'm interested in learning data science and AI. What am I going to do in the next steps?
One, you started on the right note by being on this call. So this call is the first step which you've started and you're on the right call. So the next thing you need to do is to reach out to DSN, join their mentoring program, and a mentor will be assigned to you. From there, you pick up the model that I've talked about, the goals framework. Hopefully you registered or you took the attendance so as to take the steps that you need to understand, finding the right mentor, taking the goals, planning your goals appropriate, and meeting your mentors. So the slide contains more information within there that can help you build you and make you refine as I am at the moment.
Okay. All right. Thank you so much, Mr. Sebastian. Thank you for your time on the call. We are really very grateful for always answering every time we reach out. Thank you so much. We believe that subsequently we will also still bring you to come speak to us on another topic related to this. And we believe that maybe when next we also call on you, you'll be available to join us. Thank you so much for joining us. Now, as to answer, in addition to Mr. Sebastian's response to the questions regarding how do I start my journey in data science and AI, we're pleased to announce to you that we are continuing the second cohort of our free data science and data analytics training, which will be both virtual and physical. And that will commence on February 26th and will run through to March 1, 2024. My colleague will share the link via which you can apply for this in the chat section. I think that has been done already. So you can click on that link and fill the form. But also let me say that this is targeted at intermediate learners. We've done that for beginning learners, beginners track. We had that last month, January, late January. This is targeted at intermediate learning track. If you feel you qualify as an intermediate, you can always fill the form, take the assessment, and then once you qualify, you will be reached out to and you can join the session. Thank you so much, everyone. Thank you. Before we move on, before we close, please, the attendance link is on the screen once again. We want to ensure that we are tracking participants at all of these events so that, again, like I said at the beginning, we'll be doing this going forward for all of our events so that we can track effectively. So thank you so much. You can also scan the QR code on the screen. Once you do that, you get the link immediately and you can fill on your phone. Thank you so much, everyone. Thank you for your time on the call. We believe that subsequently, for all of our forthcoming events and mentorship sessions, programs, and events, that every time we reach out to you in the name of DSN, that you will be available to join us for such a session. Thank you so much, everyone, and do have a wonderful evening. Thank you.
With AI, our foundation just recently put out a challenge to ask for ideas about using an AI to reduce inequity. And we reached out and got 1,300 proposals, and half of those came from Africa. And my next visit back to the continent, which will be in October in Senegal, we'll have a chance to celebrate the winners of that contest that looked very, very promising.